So, how good is Saul Canelo Alvarez? I know a lot of people um, are debating on this. A lot of people say he's average. I've heard people say he's average. I heard people say he's a fraud. And to be honest, man, a part of me believes a lot of things with this dude is fraudulent. Certain things are fraudulent with this dude. But there's a lot of legit shit with the boy as well, man. So, I, the fight that took place last weekend, Saturday, had a lot of people questioning a lot of things about Canelo Alvarez, myself included. Not just this fight, there were other fights that people were questioning. Okay, is this dude, how good is Canelo Alvarez? And like I've stated already, he's a great fighter, an excellent fighter. And early on, he was minimally tested. His greatest test to date is Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion. Others may differ, but in my opinion, his greatest test was Floyd Mayweather. And that's the only person that was able to beat him thus far. He has an upcoming fight in May after this one-sided fight, which everybody, including myself, predicted he would win this fight. I predicted a third round knockout, and that's exactly what happened once again. And I said that this guy, Avni Yildirim, which was also Canelo's sparring partner, had nothing for Canelo. Everybody knew that. Even my daughter could have predicted that. But how good is Canelo Alvarez? Well, before we get into that, let's go through his list of fighters that we're going to start from Avni Yildirim all the way down. Let's run through them real quick. So he beat Avni Yildirim. That's no competition for him. Callum Smith. That wasn't really a real competition for him either. I mean, that was just pitiful. He was fighting scary. He's one of these. He's a tall fighter, and he was fighting like he was scared of Canelo. Canelo ended up rupturing his arm. It's crazy, man. I mean, yeah, he had a belt, all this other stuff, but so what? He just was no match. Then before Callum Smith, he fought Sergey Kovalev. A lot of people think that fight looked a little suspect. It looked fixed. The way the Crusher was knocked out, a lot of people saying that either he was drained or could have been a number of things, because I'm not sure. I got to go back and check. I'm not sure if Canelo put a rehydration clause on that fight with Kovalev. I have to go check it. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too sure. I have to go back and look at that. Then before he fought Sergey Kovalev, he fought Daniel Jacobs. Pretty decent fight. Pretty notable opponent. Sergey Kovalev was a little bit over the hill, but Daniel Jacobs definitely a good name. Callum Smith, to me, he ain't no world beater, but he's not really a fucked up name, but he's not really the best name either. Yildirim not. Jacobs is a good name. Jacobs gave him a decent fight, but Jacobs, he wasn't letting his hands go enough in that fight. Like he was fighting a little bit timid at times as well. Nonetheless, good fight for Canelo. Then before Daniel Jacobs, it was Rocky Fielding. Pretty much he did even worse than Yildirim did, and in my opinion, he actually did a little bit more than Yildirim, a little bit more, but he's another one of these tall fighters that he just was fighting scary and got stopped to the body. Before Rocky Fielding, it was Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Great fight. I think Golovkin won the first fight. I think Canelo definitely won the second one. So Gennady Golovkin is a big name for him. That's a good fight, and he showed that he definitely has a granite chin. There's no question about Canelo's chin. One of the best chins I've ever seen. Period, hands down. Before that, another punching bag opponent, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Didn't come to fight, just came to pick up a check. Disrespectful to the sport. Liam Smith, wasn't really no competition there. Amir Khan was giving him some good work, but Amir Khan was too small. He moved up to fight him and got knocked out. Because let's just face it, Amir Khan's chin isn't really the best. So, but that's just like one of them fights. He moved up to fight, kind of like Mikey Garcia moved up to fight Errol Spence. Okay, so Amir Khan's a decent name on his record. Miguel Cotto was before Amir Khan. Another fighter. He's the only fighter that I've seen really wobble Canelo. May have been a few other ones, but definitely a notable one was Miguel Cotto. That's a good name on his record as well. James Kirkland was a good name. Arislandi Lara was a good name. He did good against. Well, he had some issues against Lara towards the beginning, but Lara started to fade and slow down a little bit, and Canelo started landing some things on him. Good fight for Canelo as well. Alfredo Angulo, okay fight. Mayweather, the only loss he took, he needed that loss. Mayweather dispatched him. Austin Trout was before Mayweather. That was another good fight. Another mover. Austin Trout is a mover. Not really known for his power like that. But he gave Canelo a good fight. But he was catching Canelo pretty good in that fight. But Canelo ate him, took the fights, took the punches, and stumbled Lara, and actually wobbled Austin Trout in that fight as well. Josecito Lopez, he fought. Decent fighter, volume puncher. Pretty decent name on his resume. Shane Mosley, he did good against Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley is a good name on his resume. Kermit Cintron, Alfonso Gomez, Ryan Rhodes, Matthew Hatton, that was a good fight. Lovemore Indo, Carlos Baldomir was a great fight, good name on his record. And let's see, Jose Miguel Cotto, that was an okay fight. Some of these fights I've never seen. Brian Camichez, no, don't know who that is. Luciano Coelho, I didn't see that fight. Who's this other guy here? Leonardo, I can't read this. Leonardo, I can't really see it. I'm reading it off of something. Excuse me for that, guys. Can't really read that name. Carlos Herrera, didn't see that fight. Marat Kuziv, don't know how to pronounce that name. Okay, yeah, that guy Leonardo Tyner, that was his name. Nobody. Yuri Gonzalez, seen that fight, that was a good fight. Canelo did his thing in that fight. Jefferson Goncalo, he fought Michelle Rosales. Larry Mosley, Raul Pinzon, Louis Fitch, Miguel Vasquez. A lot of these are earlier fighters, man. I'm not going to run through all of these names. He fought many Hispanics early on. All his fights were Hispanics for like the first 3 years of his career. Hardly any black fighters on this resume. I'm not really going to get too much into the race thing. Just had to throw that out there. But early on, man, you can't fault Canelo early on, because most fighters early on, their fights are low tier comp, man, to build them up to pad their record. But he's had some notables, and I'm just gonna run through them one more time. To me, the biggest names on his record is Shane Mosley, Josecito Lopez, Austin Trout, Floyd Mayweather, Arislandi Lara, James Kirkland, Khan, Cotto, Triple G, Daniel Jacobs. So, maybe about 10 or 11 notables out of this 55, Okay, give or take. But how good is he? He's been tested by some okay fighters. And I'm just gonna be honest, man. Most of these 55 fights were mismatches, bro. That doesn't take nothing away from his skill, but most of them were mismatches, man. That's just my opinion. They were mismatches. Um, Now the thing is, though, to be good or the greatest, man, don't you supposed to fight fighters with no stipulations? This guy loves to put rehydration clauses on people. He vacates, moves up, pings around, goes around competition. But the biggest thing is, the weight. You're putting hydration clauses and all this on fighters. If you're the best and you fight the best, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? Why are you worrying about the guy ballooning? If you got this power and you're strong, you don't care about him blowing up 15 pounds heavier than you. Why would you, y'all both got on the scales that night. Y'all both came in on weight. Y'all go in there and go head up. Simple as that. And, my thing is this, man, with Canelo, like, and the Canelo fanboys will say, well, he earned the right to have some light touches and tune-ups. But wait a minute. Tune-up, why? The dude is 55 fights in. Tune-ups are for, like, dudes that don't have layoffs, that have been on long layoffs. Canelo don't take layoffs like that. Or tune-ups are for people that, aren't really battle-tested yet. They're moving up in division, and they want to see how they do, and they can accommodate to the division. This dude's been fighting back to back. So what is he having? What does he need a tune-up like Avni Yildirim for? Okay, why does he need a tune-up like Avni Yildirim? If Yildirim's a tune-up, why? You've been fighting great fighters, right? So you shouldn't need a tune-up if you already been fighting the best. Then you continue and you keep fighting the best after that. You don't go backwards and then forwards, backwards and forwards. That's just my thing. That's how I see it. Other people see it different, but that's the way I see it, man. So to sum it up, how good is Canelo Alvarez? I can't answer that because I've seen him fight Triple G, Triple G is probably past his prime now. Slow. I haven't seen Canelo mix it up with somebody that has other attributes, like a combination of power, speed. I've not seen that. Footwork, IQ, everything, like a person like Floyd. No other people like Floyd, or as close to Floyd, similar to his kind of IQ and stuff like that. Yet to see it. Is it Billy Joe? I doubt it. Charlo? I don't know. Andrade? Don't know. I think somebody that a lot of people don't really mention much that has a chance to beat Canelo would be fucking Andre Ward if he was still fighting. But who knows? That probably will never happen. But nonetheless, he hasn't really pushed himself and challenged himself. It's like he moves forward a little, then he steps back, pulls himself forward, steps back. I don't understand it. Why not just run through all these guys? You're the best, and his fanboys think that he can beat Charlo, he can beat Andre. Okay, knock them all off the list, and then be the king of the hill, and then everybody will know that you really solidified. That's how I see it. Too many times he kind of flaked a little bit and kind of made people think, all right, man, is he moving around these dudes like he don't want to fight them? Then he talking about not fighting other Mexican fighters like Benavidez, and come on, dog. So once he start from Billy Joe on, I want to see him fight good the rest of these dudes that want to fight him. Or he's saying that he must fight Charlo. Okay, make that known, and I hope that ain't all smoke coming out his mouth. Solidify that fight after you fight Caleb Plant or whoever, and then on to the next, the little crop of best dudes that people want to see you fight. I don't want to see no more Avni Yildirims. I don't want to see no more Rocky Fieldings. And as I stated in my other video, how do these guys like Avni Yildirim get a top shot at Canelo as a Mando when they ain't really doing shit to know to really gain that position. Don't understand it. But let me know what you think. How good is Canelo Alvarez? Do you think he's the best? Or is he all hype? Or is he a fraud? Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all later on the next one. Peace out.